Peace, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Siddiqui from Doing Garvey, not just talking Garvey. Just wanted to come on here right fast just to express myself about one of the major concerns I have. There's been a lot of talk about us kidnapped Africans from America being coming home and welcome back to Africa. Well, at this point in time, I'm really not even feeling that because of the fact that there's no policies being put in place. I don't hear any of the public outcry from the Africans that's here on the continent, which currently I'm here in Kenya. I don't hear no outcry about us kidnapped Africans being brought back to Africa under any kind of policies that's being promoted or sponsored or implemented by the governments. There's been a whole lot of talk about return, what's it called? Year return. The year return did make a lot of money for Ghana. They did a great promotional program, or whatever you want to call it, to be able to inspire many of us kidnapped Africans from America specifically. I'm speaking on to return to Africa to come see the birthplace of where we're from, where we held captive and all of that. But you know, that I look at that as being a money grab, you know, because nothing was in place. No apologies was really in place. No restitution or any kind of government effort to really give us a pathway back to coming back to the continent. They all know the history of us kidnapped Africans being taken to America. They know about the slave practices that America had, that we went into, which our ancestors went into, had become the greatest country on earth, you know, for the past, 400 years? America, 500 years, America's been established and been the greatest country on earth. Where do we benefit by coming back to the continent? Where is there policy being put in place to say you're welcome home? You know, everyone always talking about welcome back, welcome home, welcome home. How are you gonna be welcome home and you don't get any thing back from coming home? You know, all of this is ignored, that us Africans did not, that we left things here. We left things on the African continent. Our ancestors lost all the possessions when they were kidnapped or sold into bondage, you know. But, you know, when the subject comes up about the slavery, it jumps right into colonialism. Look what has happened on the African continent. It started off from slavery. Why are we being ignored and not given any kind of assistance to being able to return back home? Why do we have to pay so much to be able to come back home? You know, you know, people need to stop saying that, you know, we're Africans. How can you be an African and you're not being accepted back home through any kind of policies to restore you to being an African? There's nothing being put in place. It's all a money grab. You know, if you can show me and tell me something different, oh, well, that was so long ago. Okay, so long ago, but who benefited? You know, some of the people on the continent benefited. They were able to pass down land to each generation from land that was abandoned because our ancestors was taken back to America. But how do we retrieve it? Where's government putting things in policy? All of them have an education. They all have an education of being have an education of the history of America and what has taken place. It's just disturbing to me. It bothers my soul to know the fact that the African leaders are not even thinking about us kidnapped Africans who don't have any kind of land besides the land of our conquerors. Some of us want to say that, we were already there in America, but the biggest continent on earth was depopulated. Some of us were travelers. So yeah, we might have been in America. We all over the earth. As you see, we're the people all over the continent, all over the globe. Our presence as African people, but the most populous continent on earth of African people are in Africa. So we have to have and then they say that all mankind started in Africa. But my history, me as a kidnapped African, was I was taken to America. And as we see, America became the greatest country on earth. Why is that? Africans was taken to the Caribbean, Africans was taken to Europe, to Brazil, North, South America, taken all these places. Why was America so developed? What was it in the people that was taken and kidnapped, taken to America? I can tell you one special thing about us is the fact that, we brought a lot of inventions to America. Our skill level was so high. So what gave us that skill level? Was it the Europeans that we were enslaved by? No, we had skills when we left the continent. When we left Africa, we had skills. Some of those skills might have been some of our African brothers and sisters that was in America before the conquerors came. Whatever it was, us Africans in America had to have special skills, special knowledge. Because it shows in history how many inventions that we came up with. Imagine if we had those skills, we were able to overthrow America at that time and be able to return back to the continent. What would the continent be like at this point? As once again, we can go back to colonialism. But those same conquerors was here in Africa just as well. Where there was also Africans who still had access to their land and doing things for themselves. The conquerors suppressed a lot of things also. They was taking a lot of the resources, and then they also had some kind of industries over here. Not all raw materials just taken out of Africa and taken somewhere else. They were also processing things here on the continent. But it's also been like 60 years since independence of many African countries. Where's the development? Where's the impact from us Africans on the continent here, showing that we've been as innovative as we were able to be in America? Is it based on the leadership that's here on the continent? Is it the greed, the corruption? Our people have the knowledge here, but at the same time, why hasn't been able to progress in these 60 years of having the independence? Why hasn't it been a outcry to say, let's get these kidnapped Africans, our brothers and sisters from the continent, from America? I'm speaking on America right now because it seems as though us kidnapped Africans, us black Africans in America are not getting any acknowledgement. You know, I would like to throw in our brothers and sisters from, from Europe, from England, from, Brazil. But at this time, I have to express what I'm experiencing as an African, kidnapped African that's coming from America. We would like to come home. We like to come home to contribute to the development of the continent. These African leaders seem to be creating some kind of roadblock or creating some kind of, not wedge, but all I can say is a roadblock, stopping us from coming back home. They won't put it in any of the constitutions, won't discuss it, not in Parliament. Everyone, but people want to discuss this colonialism situation that has happened on the continent. Why is the first onslaught of or the destruction of Africa happened with the enslavement of people and pulled out of here? But it only stays in the subject matter of colonialism. It happened to us first, even though we're the same people. But the fact is that we were a people that was stripped of everything from what was taken from us on the continent, which, like I said, many of our people who were not kidnapped, were able to stay on the continent, still had land possession. After Europeans so-called left, they still had access to land. Us Africans in America, we don't have access to nothing. We didn't even have access to our names, our lineage of who we are. All of that was stripped. We were turned into a blank sheet. A blank sheet. We had nothing, no knowledge of nothing. We was in America for 400 years, 400 plus years. Was turned into a domesticated animal. The African leaders don't even look at that, but they know history. They know the history. Why isn't it any kind of pathway being put in place by these African leaders? And why some of these so-called activists on the African continent, why aren't they advocating for us kidnapped Africans to be returned and given some kind of rights and some land? Why not? So much land is abandoned on the African continent. Why not allow us to come back home? Give us a section. Give us a location. Why not? Especially if we have some kind of grassroots brothers and sisters, but people in authority, we're not acknowledged. Yeah, we're not acknowledged by them. We're a threat. We're more a threat than we are looked at as being a benefit to Africans returning and assisting. Look at the skills that we have. Look at the knowledge that we have. Look at the finances that we have. We're an asset to the continent. I think I talked enough on this subject. If you have any feedback, you want to have any more dialogue about this, hit a brother up, Doing Garvey, not just talking Garvey. I'm here to do business also. I'm just letting you know. I'm just not here talking. I made efforts to establish business in Tanzania, which I was going back and forth for the past 6 years. I chose to come. I came to Kenya last year. Loved it because I can speak the language. In Tanzania, it's a struggle, but being here in Kenya, I can navigate a lot better. But still, the gameplay is still here. I'm just considered an American. I'm not even considered really an African like that. The same mentality is there. What angle can I get in? So, but you know, I've met some good people also. But the game is still on. Once again, more subject matters will come out of doing Garvey, not just talking Garvey. You'll see how I'm building. You'll see these subjects are relevant to a lot of us kidnapped Africans. So, hope to talk to you soon. Stay black, stay strong. Hope you're doing Garvey. Peace.
We hope that you found this content enlightening and engaging. To contact Brother Siddiqui, email doinggarvey@gmail.com. Looking forward to building with you. Take care.